Pasha. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Hi, thank you, Allison, for having me. This is an extremely important issue, and so I'm delighted to be able to provide some perspective, especially if we can encourage people to get vaccinated.
Thanks, Pasha. Can you talk to me a little bit about the state of your business during the pandemic? How have you been affected, and what have you seen businesses around Texas going through?
Sure. So we are currently open at limited capacity for a little bit of indoor service and mostly outdoor service. We had to recategorize ourselves as a restaurant. I hired a cook and we bought a bunch of kitchen equipment. We were shut down for about 5 months. We actually proactively shut down the day before St. Patrick's Day because I saw the rising cases of COVID in the community. I was, as somebody who works in medical research for my day job, I was very sensitive to the issue, and I value my staff's health very much. So we shut down. We stayed shut down for several months, and then eventually when we went bankrupt, or just about bankrupt, we decided we needed to do something to try and help ourselves survive. So we, at first we started selling non-alcoholic juices to go. As a way to keep our staff employed and make a little bit of money. At this point in the pandemic, it was still very early, and there was a lot of fear. There was still a lot of unknown. I mean, there's a lot of unknown now, but we knew even less back in March and April. And those to-go sales helped us until Texas finally allowed alcohol sales to go. So we started selling cocktails to go. We got a little bubble tea machine that allows us to wrap individual drinks. And so people would come by and get drinks to go. And then eventually when we were allowed to open back up, we started seating people outside. And then finally now we're seating people inside as well.
So as a business owner, what are some of the issues that you're running up against during this pandemic?
So as a hospitality business owner, the issues I had, in addition to trying to figure out how to still make sales, because people either are afraid to come out because of the virus, or we're not allowed to bring people into the bar at all. So those are two issues that kind of cause the same problem, which is a drop in revenue. That was the first issue. It was helped a little bit when Texas relaxed its laws and allowed us to sell things to go. As a bar, previously you couldn't do that at all. So that helped solve some of our issues in terms of bringing in or making income. But now that we've started to reopen, their second issue is very often dealing with a public that isn't really all that cautious. A lot of people are in my community. I'm lucky that a lot of the people that come to my bar, now restaurant, are very aware of the issue. They're very concerned about. They're science driven. My bar is just a few miles away from Johnson Space Center, so I have a lot of scientists and engineers that come here. But not everybody's like that. And so, the first issue to deal with was figuring out how to make sales. And then once those sales could occur and you could host people in the business again, the second issue is making sure people comply with health restrictions or hygiene issues. One thing that I've noticed is, I think we've all noticed this, is that we are not gathering face to face as we used to. We're not going into our offices. We are not going to restaurants, to bars. The bar that I have is a neighborhood bar. It's a little bit fancy, but it's a neighborhood bar. We have lots of regulars. We have lots of community members here that work in the medical field. They work at NASA. They work in the oil fields. But the bottom line is that they come here to be together. They drink alcohol, yes, but they also brainstorm ideas for their businesses. They commiserate after a funeral. They engage in that most fundamental aspect of human culture, which is community. And if people out there don't get vaccinated, if we don't get this pandemic under control, then these public gathering spaces will cease to exist. I know several friends whose bars cannot accommodate outdoor seating. They're not set up to go, and they've closed. And so you have community gathering spaces that have closed. I think back to a lot of legendary stories about the very founding of this country, when a lot of the revolutionary discussions that occurred happened in taverns. The very nature of this country was founded around taverns. And the idea that we collectively can't get together to solve this problem, to save those types of places of community gathering, is heartbreaking to me. I can't imagine it. We employ 7 or 8 people now. And these are people that live in the community. They spend money in the community. They are shoulders to cry on for people that come when they're having a hard day or a hard week, or in this case, a hard year. Bars are important, and I want people to understand how important they are and how existential the threat is for bars and restaurants if there isn't a mass vaccination program that gets underway soon.
Well, thank you so much, Pasha, for your insights. And I invite our viewers today to subscribe to our channel and to connect with us on social media or on our website, immunizeusa.org. Thank you.